What's going on, everybody? I'm just doing a little cruise. I figured, since I'm waiting for some car parts, I figured why not make a little video. I did the car vlog video, if you remember from before. It was just like, I call it Car Talk. It's kind of like a small series I wanted to start. More of like, just out driving, chatting a little bit, talking with you guys. But for the most part, I'm waiting for parts. I really don't have much going on. It's been warming up, but it's still, I can't do anything because I'm waiting for parts. So I ordered the right parts, I got everything coming, and they should be here shortly. So I leave for Florida on Thursday. I leave Thursday evening, but I'll be at work Monday through Thursday, so I won't be able to do much unless after work I feel like doing something, so we'll see, maybe. If not, the next video will be sometime in Florida, because I plan to bring my camera, plan on taking some photos, some videos, having some good fun. But yeah, today's just a Sunday, it's just chill. It's about 5 o'clock. But other than that, pretty much all I wanted to talk to you guys about, it was just about, I figured I've never talked to you guys how I got into the car scene and how the car scene has changed since I've been in it. So by the title of the video, obviously you can see what's going on with this video and where it's going. But first off, I guess I'll just start with my very first car. The very first car I got, that I modified and got me into the car scene was a 95 Dodge Neon. And some may say, oh, Kevin, now I know how you got into the Neon scene. Really, that's not why I bought it, because it was cheap and it was a manual. And I never had any kind of intention on modifying it. I just decided, let's buy this car. It's a manual, it's gonna get good gas mileage, it's gonna be easy to fix if it breaks. Well, with the SRTs, when they came out, I never even liked them. I thought they were ugly. I thought they were pieces of crap. I thought they were overpriced. Even though I was a Neon guy, I still hated the SRTs. And one day, the guy who I bought my SRT from, I'm sure he doesn't watch my channel, but his name is Jared. He wanted to get rid of it to get, I believe, don't quote me on this, but either a Mini Cooper or a BMW. I think it was like an M3 or something like that. But so he decided that's what he wanted, so he decided to bring the SRT over to my house one day when he was buying just a part for a regular Neon. And so he pulled up in the SRT. I was kind of like, I don't like that, whatever. Well, he decided, he's like, toss me the keys. He's like, take it for a spin. Well, at that point in time, he was just like, yeah, throw it down a second, give it the beans, and let it rip. Well, pretty much right at that point, I decided, okay, I love these cars, I need to get one, and I ended up buying that car a month later. So, it's kind of jumping ahead of the story, but with my 95 Neon, pretty much what I did was, like I said, I was just going to drive it as a daily. Then from there, I decided, well, maybe I might want to do something. My good friend at the time, his name is Mike, he was always into cars. He had a Honda Accord, a bunch of other cars. He even had an old Cadillac DeVille, with, I think it was the V8 in it, and it was, I can't remember exactly what he had done to it, but it was just like loud exhaust, whatnot, stuff like that. It was kind of just like the cruising car. Back in high school, everybody was like, Mike D has the Cadillac, let's go cruising. So Mike D was the one who kind of really got me into cars, because at that time I could care less about like subwoofers, I could care less about going fast, I could care less about modifying cars. It was just cars were cars. They were transportation to me at the time. So Mike D decided to tell me to put an exhaust on it, or at least at the time it wasn't even a full exhaust, it was just a muffler, just a little rice cannon. So I mean, there was a stage in my life where I was kind of that ricer, because all I did was hack my muffler off, which actually I didn't even do it. It was Elizabeth, Mike's girlfriend, who hacked my muffler off for me and decided to throw this little rice burner cannon that came from, I think it was like Pep Boys, something like that. And it was like 50 bucks. Did nothing but just make the car loud and annoying. And it wasn't even a good, a loud. It wasn't, a good sound. It was just kind of cheap sounding. It was just basic circular, cylinder shaped fart can with a large tip. And I loved it at the time. I thought it was the coolest thing in the world. All I wanted to do was go around town and be that dumb kid that was just revving my engine everywhere, because now my exhaust was somewhat loud. At the time, we thought it sounded great, but now that I look back on it, I'm like, what the hell was I thinking? But other than that, So that pretty much just started the whole being a car enthusiast and start modifying cars, and that's where it started. It just cutting my muffler off and putting a cheap muffler on was the start, and it is turned into an amazing thing. So even if you are at that age where you're, you know, starting to rice out your car and so on, what people call it, just keep going, keep doing your thing, have fun while you're doing it, because I could tell you that if I wouldn't have done that, who knows where I've been. Maybe I'd be in like a Mercedes, not even that, you know, maybe like a Toyota Corolla, a Toyota Camry, just cruising every single day to work, not worrying about, you know, buying car parts, buying a truck so it can haul my toys, you know, getting a trailer, stuff like that. And you know, I'd probably be in a Toyota Camry or an Avalon or something that's just like a good daily, that's safe and boring. So from there, pretty much it just started an avalanche of buying eBay parts for a 95 Dodge Neon. I started out with cold air intake. It was like on that style of the engine, the throttle body is in the front right by the driver headlight. So all it was like a rainbow that went down to the ground, and my filter just sat right above the ground. It was a horrible idea. I've never sucked in water with it, but it worked. I mean, it was colder. Other than that, I ended up doing some Motegi wheels. The only like thing that were like truly, you know, somewhat legit about the car. And I did some iBox Sportline springs. The Motegis, I believe they were FF7s, I think. Don't quote me on that. If I can find it, I'll throw a picture up right here. But they were cool. They were black with a polished lip. It was like my first expensive purchase for the car. I think the wheels themselves, wheels and tires themselves, costed more than the car did. So what I did is I wrapped the Motegis in some Kumo Scots. There's nothing crazy, some cheap ass, I think that's how you pronounce it, but some cheap ass tires. I know Kumo has some okay tires, but they were like pretty cheap. I thought they were sticky at the time. And just looking back at this makes me just realize and like how, not stupid, but just like I had no knowledge of anything back then. And I know that's, you know, you're starting, you're not going to have any knowledge of some of the stuff that's going on, but still, it's unbelievable with some of this stuff, and I'm going to keep going. There's a lot more. So from there, you know, so I thought I was all cool with my wheels, my iBox Sportline springs, you know, so it was lowered. It wasn't the greatest ride, but I thought it was cool. Had a loud exhaust, some really nice 17-inch wheels, which I can't even think about putting 17-inch wheels on a Dodge Neon, a regular 95 four-door Dodge Neon. And if anything, it should be 15s, 16s max, but I probably would put 15s on it. If I had another Dodge Neon today, it would look totally different, and I'd put 15s on it. But get back to the story. So from there, I decided, you know, to get an actual header, and then I think it was a pace setter header. It was nothing crazy. I think that's what they were called. Hacked out my cat, left it in there, and just ran the pipe back to that rice ass muffler. So from there it was pretty loud because there was no cat. I had an actual long tube header and pretty much just straight pipe all the way back to that rice burner muffler. But then from there I decided one day to pull my valve cover off, paint it blue, and it ended up chipping a month later, and it would look like crap, and it was horrible. So the only thing I had good on that car was spark plug wires, spark plugs, and some really nice headlights. So I got all new headlights. I think they were the depot headlights at the time, pretty popular. Made the whole front of the car look different. Other than that, I decided to put a mesh grill from O'Reilly's, which used to be Checker at the time. I guess some of you young guys who watch my channel, if you don't know what Checker is, you're too young. But Checker Auto, I put some like little, like what do they call it, chicken wire almost, like mesh grill in the bottom of my grill. I thought it looked really good at the time. I wouldn't do it now, but I thought it looked really good. And on top of that, I also did probably the most notorious ricer thing you could possibly do, and do the Alteza taillights with blacked out housings. And oh my god, I can't even believe I'm telling you guys that I was like this at one point in time, because I always look at these guys who do this nowadays and I just shake my head. So besides my riced out Dodge Neon and me purchasing the 2004 SRT4 back then, The car community at the time was very, I feel like it was bigger, much bigger than what it was now, at least in my town, in Minnesota. It's still growing, but it's a total different style and hype of car scene. A lot more people bashing on people than it was back then. You pretty much bring what you have, you run it, you don't talk shit, you have fun, everybody gets along. But nowadays, you bring, something that you think is cool, and you're bashed on pretty much until you leave. So the change of the car community itself to me is it's been a huge change. And it's not something that just changed overnight. It took a long time. It was slowly but surely growing into something that just wasn't great anymore. And the Minnesota car community has definitely took a step above, I'd say, over the last few years. I don't really go down to the street races anymore. I feel like I'm just too old to go down to the street races and act a fool. And there's too many people that have died down there. There's too many people that have, gotten car accidents, crashed their cars, pulled guns on people. I just don't see why I should put myself, in with that same group of people. It's not just those group of people. It's just, why should I put myself in, that area, take that chance of getting in trouble, or you know what I mean. So spring's coming. It's not too far away, which means the SRT is not too far away from coming out of storage. Once that comes out of storage, first things we're doing is a new fuel pump, bigger fuel pump, fixing the fuel canister, and I'm doing a rewire of the fuel pump, and I think that's pretty much it. If you guys remember from last year, I had some issues with some smoking, so I'm gonna figure out what's going on with that. I think it's just the turbo. I think the turbo's old. It's kind of on its way out. So I'm gonna figure what's going on with that. I'm gonna do a boost leak test on top of it, probably a compression test, and maybe a retune. But other than that, guys, I'm gonna end it here. I'm about to go get some food, fill the truck up with some fuel, just chill a little bit, probably edit this video. So if you're new to the channel, guys, hit that subscribe button. Should have been here. And hit that like button for me too, helps me out a lot. But I'm gonna end it here, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I'll catch you in the next one. Have a great night. See you later.